Welcome. In front of me is a Xiaomi Pad 8, and today I'll be going over unboxing along with a quick look at the device, its specifications, and anything else you can think about. Just give you my general opinions about it. Now, before I get started with the actual unboxing, I do want to quickly mention that I am in no way sponsored by any company, neither Xiaomi nor anyone else sponsoring this, so whatever I'm about to be saying about this device will be strictly my own opinion. And on top of that, this is kind of unscripted. It's a first look, so you're getting my kind of experience with this device as I go through it and see what it offers as I basically get through it. So anyway, let's just get straight to this. So let's pop the two seals at the back. There we go. And in here we get some information. Let's just completely ignore those. I'm going to be going over them later on anyway. And here it is. This back has basically the same design as their previous phones used to. So it's kind of nice. Anyway, I'm going to set it to the side for the moment and take a look at the rest, which is absolutely freaking nothing. Okay. Oh, well, there is a Type A to Type C charging cable. Wow. Okay, that's a little bit disappointing. But anyway, that is what it is. Let's just heat that to the side and move on to the tablet. Now, I will also take a look on, while I'm doing this kind of overview right here, at the end at one of these covers. I have two of them. I'll be taking a look at the other one, the better one, for unboxing the 8 Pro. So anyway, this one will be at the end. Where is this one? There we go. The folio one will be for the 8 Pro. So anyway, let's get to this. One thing that I already can tell you I don't like, the freaking camera bump. It is a little bit too big for a tablet size. Like, I can literally hold it by this. So, because of this, you get massive amounts of wobble. And I personally would like the tablet to not wobble like this. Now, let's start off with the display. So, right here we have a 11.2 inches size display with the resolution of 2136 by 3200 pixels. It is only an LCD display, unfortunately, but it has apparently 68 billion colors, 144 Hz refresh rate, HDR10, not 10 plus, Dolby Vision, HDR Vivid, and a peak brightness of 800 nits. We also have 85.8% screen-to-body ratio and 344 pixels per inch. So display right here is okay. I would much rather see something a little bit better, to be completely honest, like an AMOLED display. It's just me. I just love those, inky blacks. And I feel like that would have been a nice feature to have on this, even if you would have to pay a little bit more. And talking about paying for this device, where I'm from, this is actually a very nicely priced device. For what you can get with it, this is a pretty solid device. So it will come at about a price of 1700 PLN, at least for the cheapest model of it, officially on their website, Xiaomi's website. And for people that don't know what kind of price I just gave you, let me just convert it to US dollars. There we go. So that is going to be 460 United States dollars. Now, this would also already include the tax. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's get into this. Apart from the display, the camera, that is the obnoxious bump at the back, is well, it looks pathetic, so I'm not sure why there is such a huge bump for it. But this is alright, 13 megapixel 2.2 wide sensor that does 4K 30, 1080p up to 60. Now again, it's only a 13 megapixels, so I'm not sure why they couldn't just make it flat with the display. I'm sure no one likes their device wobbling all about for no freaking reason. And 13 megapixels, it's small enough to not have that. And just to kind of something that I started noticing. So you have devices like this which have 13 megapixels and somehow have a bump, and then you have phones that have a selfie camera that can go up to like 50 megapixels, the most recent ones I've seen. Those don't need a bump. So I'm kind of confused. Why did you need to put it here? I would have much preferred it to be completely flush. That would have been pretty cool. But it's not. Now at the front we have a 8 megapixel 2.3 aperture wide sensor that does 1080p 30 frames. Now cameras right here obviously are subpar. This is a tablet, not a phone, so it's to be expected. So internally though, we do have a whopping 9200 mAh battery, which is a pretty good battery size for an 11-inch tablet. And it also can be charged up to 45 watts, though no provided charger in the box. Because apparently, it's so big that apparently you're not going to be needing to charge it, right? Charging a device is a thing of the past. They just automatically, magically fill themselves up. I am pretty negative about not having chargers in the box, no matter at what price point. And the bullshit logic of, well, we're doing it for the environment and you probably have a charger at home. Yeah, sure, you might have a charger at home. It's probably a piece of shit one that charges it at 5, 10, 15 watts max. Not 45 or not 100 watts like some devices can. So that bullshit logic just kind of falls apart. And it's just a, cost-cutting solutions for companies to not need to, take it on themselves or just sell it separately, because otherwise they would have been including that charger, right? But hey, Xiaomi on the other hand side will have the audacity to sell you a $2,500 device and not include a goddamn charger in it. And because they care so much about the environment, they give you an obnoxiously big box that is basically holding only a phone case and a charger. Oh, sorry, and a cable for the charger and a lanyard. And a little cloth. Well, great. How about substitute the lanyard and cloth with a fucking charger? So anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about the new Xiaomi 17 Ultra phone that is specifically branded as the Leica one, or Lates phone as they're calling it, or whatever. It's obnoxiously expensive, and it's basically a Xiaomi 17 Ultra, which is a different flair from Leica. And it costs like $2,500. Logical price there. Anyway, let's move on. So apart from the big battery that we have right here, in terms of the processor and all that, we have a Snapdragon 8S Gen 4. So a bit dated processor for the device, completely honest. And at the lowest end of the device, which would have been that 400 and whatever price I told you, which was converted, obviously, that gives you 128 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM. And there is, unfortunately, no expendable storage in here. Now, if you want, you can pick up a higher spec option with, for instance, 256 and 8 gigabytes of RAM or 256 and 12 gigabytes of RAM. But for some reason, this device caps at 256 gigs of storage because apparently people don't have any more than 256 gigs of storage on a tablet. So that's a little bit of a shame. And even furthermore, as adding salt to injury, the 128 gigabyte model, which is the lowest end, the 1700 PLN1, comes with UFS 3.1 storage type, while the rest of them come with UFS 4.1. So that's also kind of skimping out on the storage right here in terms of how fast it is. Now, anything else that I should mention? There is. So the back and sides are aluminum, as this is one big piece by the looks of it that is just kind of wrapping to the side. So that's actually adding a little bit more to the experience of like making it feel like it's a more premium device. And other than that, the obviously front is glass, and the glass right here is unspecified, right? Yep, I don't see GSM Marina specifying it. So that's about everything that there is to the device. It is I feel like this device could have offered a little bit more for this price, as it is coming at like 1700 PLN, which at that point I don't know if I could get something better. Let me check one device that I'm thinking on top of my head. Let's see which one is the most recent one. So that is going to be about 300. Okay, so that's already definitely better. Nope, this can go screw itself. And this would be a much better budget option. Okay, so just a quick look, and I can already tell you that if you're looking for a device that is just kind of more or less in terms of catering towards more performance, then I think you might be better off picking up something like the Oppo Pad 5. Number one, that device has a much faster processor, being the Dimensity 9400 Plus. It also has a 10,420 mAh battery, which is bigger, and a bigger display. It's also IPS LCD, unfortunately. But other than that, it does have improvements in almost every kind of category, I would say. The only place where it doesn't improve is the back cameras, which is 8 megapixels, and it does 4K 30 and 1080p 30, while the selfie does only 1080p 30, and it's also an 8 megapixel. So in general, I think if you're not looking to have great photos out of your tablet, which you probably are not, I think the Oppo Pad 5 might be a better option. And cost-wise, it costs about 310 euros based on GSM Arena, while this device costs 340 euros based on GSM Arena. So they should be about the same kind of price, while offering the Oppo one offering more. And just to clarify, I'm saying Oppo as in OPPO. For some reason, a lot of people think I'm saying Apple when I'm pronouncing that. So just to clarify this. In any case, and that's the Pad 5, and it seems to be offering a pretty stellar package that basically outperforms this one in every category in terms of the tablet itself. But I noticed that, for instance, these devices don't have these kind of nice cases for them. So one of the upsides here for this specific device and the Pro one will be, like I mentioned, one of these things, a folio case, and this one has a keyboard. And here I've seen from the pictures that there's keyboard and trackpad versions of this, though this could be possibly for a bigger version of it. I'm not sure, I haven't looked into this. So in terms of having like a nice folio case where you can just, type it on it, and this one specifically being not one where you just kind of, have a case and you basically plop it like this at an angle onto the case. This one is similar to what Apple offers, which is robust kind of hinge, and the tablet is actually just magnetically attached and floating above the keyboard, which is pretty damn nice. So if you're looking for something that is a little bit more premium in terms of casing, then you're gonna have to spend more on the device itself, which isn't worth as much. While if you're just looking for the tablet that is good and you don't care that much about case and keyboard and floating whatever robust hinges and crap like that, which would cost you more, by the way, then you can check out the Oppo Pad 5, like I said, which would be a definitive improvement. Now, another thing that you could look into is the Air version of that same pad, which is Oppo Pad Air 5. Now, this one will have a weaker processor. I think it's actually still might be faster than this. It's the Dimensity 7300 Ultra. And again, it has a bigger battery, a little bit slower charging, but it is going to be a cheaper device. So it does sacrifice some things while still keeping the big display, high refresh rate, decent speed of charging. Again, RAM-wise, it's the same thing, and storage is the same thing. So this one will cost about 230 euros. So definitely cheaper than this. So if you're looking for a more budget-oriented device that could still deliver a decent amount of power, that will be also a great option to look into. But in general, apples to apples, I think I would recommend the Pad 5, not the Air, as they're similarly priced, and that one offers definitely a much better performance straight out of the box. And considering they've been both released nearly like a couple of months apart, right? So this one was in September 25th of 2025. Okay, yeah, so literally a month apart, actually not even an entire month. The Pad 5 was released on October 16th, so like 20 days later. So considering there's only 20 days between these two devices, and what they offer is a little bit, more all over the place, I think the other one would be better. Now, to also not kind of make it sound like it's all great and all that, Oppo is, well, part of a parent company like that owns OnePlus, Vivo, and Realme, and they've been known for trying to introduce some annoying garbage, like for instance, I don't know how to call it, proprietary batteries, where if your battery in a tablet dies and you want to replace it, which wouldn't be that difficult, you need to do it through them, otherwise this battery will not work, because it needs to be done officially by them, and it's kind of like locked. It is like basically a DRM for a goddamn battery, for just the purpose to get money out of you more than it's worth. So I don't want to be all positive about that device. It might have some kind of limitations like this. I also recently heard that one of them is basically breaking their devices if you try to unlock the bootloader and downgrade it or something like that, where it literally burns something out on the PCB, but it was for the phone. So, do your due diligence when it comes down to crappy behaviors from companies, which I haven't heard anything like that coming from Xiaomi, so that could be a positive to you. But in any case, if you're just looking for a device that would work good, don't really care that much about switching out battery into the future, because you're going to be getting a new device after 3-4 years, then I think you should be good enough with this one. And the Pad 5 seems to be a good choice. So anyway, let's move on to the case to quickly see how that fits on here. So okay, so here it is. It's a pretty thick case. Feels pretty nice and very high quality. Just drop our tablet right away in here. Okay, magnetically attaches, pretty nice. So this one gives you the ability to just kind of flip it like so, and just have it at an angle. Oh, there we go. It actually can magnetically attach it there if you put it all the way there. So that's pretty nice when it comes down to just versatility. I can obviously set it up in a landscape or I believe portrait. Yep. So both ways will work with this one. It seems to be holding pretty well. It is also magnetically attached right here, as you can see. And solid case. Nothing really super out of the ordinary, I would say. I've seen these cases. Apple does definitely have ones like this as well. So it seems like they're trying to copy Apple a little bit with their design choice right here. So if you're into that, obviously, there you go. And the case feels nice, solid. Ooh, and one benefit, minimizes the damn camera bump. So now there's no wobble. So I guess you just need to buy a case for the device to not have the annoying ass wobble that didn't need to be here from the beginning. But anyway, that about sums it up. Just a quick little look at this as well. So if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.